Late. So I have with me Kiruba Shankar. I met Kiruba in a last event called Engage, which happens in Calcutta. I heard him. I think he's a authority in his subject, which is around writing, which is around personal branding, digital marketing. So I think Kiruba would be a great speaker for today's evening in terms of giving you some really good thoughts about personal branding, because we all are a brand in ourselves, because we all represent certain thoughts, and what thought comes to someone's mind when your name is taken is very, very critical, right? So I think Kiruba will throw some light on how to build a solid personal brand so that it yields into your business and the business growth. So please come along with me to welcome Kiruba Shankar today to come and enlighten all of us. Thank you, Kiruba, for coming all the way from Chennai.
No, thanks, Abhi.
And I hope we all enjoy today's evening. Please we are very casual today. Make it as interactive as you wish to make it.
I was in my coat, suit, tie, and immaculately dressed. And Abhi said you're too overdressed. So I changed to t-shirt and jeans. Now I'm suddenly feeling very underdressed here. So fantastic, guys. You're going to look at a very grainy picture now. You may not really see what's happening here. So let me just walk you through what's happening here. This is a screen grab from a subway railway station in Washington, D.C. Right? It's one of metro stations in Washington, D.C., which is the capital of the United States. It's a Monday morning, 8 o'clock, start of peak hour. And if you notice on the left side, there's a guy standing, having something in his hand. And that is a violin. He's got a violin in his hand, and he stands in one corner so that he does not obstruct people rushing to catch their trains. He takes the violin and starts to play classical music. The best of Bach, the best of Beethoven, and goes on to play for 3 hours uninterrupted, passionately, feeling every note inside. His violin case is his begging bowl. He opens up the violin case, he's kept it at the feet, and that's where people can put in their offerings. At the end of 3 hours, he collects a grand total of $28.50. That's less than the minimum wage in the United States. This happens at 8 o'clock in the morning. At 6 o'clock in the evening, he goes and performs at another place. Now, I'm gonna show you who this guy is. First, can you guess who this guy is?
Green Day, Joshua Bell.
That is correct. You're the first person in so many years who got his name. So you want to explain to the gang who this person is, sir?
He's a great violin player, Joshua Bell, one of the celebrity guys, who was doing this experiment on doing about if people don't know me, what the public perception is. That was an experiment which was done.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So this actually was the experiment by the Washington Post newspaper, where a lot of us as human beings really focus more on the appearance, on what people project, and then we make a judgment call on whether this guy is good, not good, worth doing business, not worth doing business. It's the same guy, 6 o'clock in the evening. He performs at this massive auditorium, which each ticket that costs over $500, that's about what, 25,000 to 30,000 rupees, is a ticket sold out 6 months in advance. He's a multi-millionaire. In fact, the violin that he has is a Stradivarius violin, which is 304 years old. He's got $1 million in insurance just for the violin alone. So he played the same notes, the same songs, the same performance for 3 hours in the morning at the subway railway station, and exactly the same sequence at this massive auditorium at 6 o'clock in the evening. Standing ovation. In evening, standing ovation, people milling out together, people getting autographs, taking selfies. Whereas in the morning, people were giving him alms like a beggar does. People don't even stop to even appreciate the music. Same guy, same music, same violin. And my question to you is, what's the difference? What did you understand from this experiment? By the way, this experiment went on to win the Pulitzer Prize, which is the highest prize awarded to journalism. So what's your take?
The context.
The context?
I think the brand which makes a difference.
That is right. It's also the brand. It's how people perceive us is also something. The perception. Any other points?
Presentation is about appearance of a person. So it makes a difference in different contexts.
That's right. The guy is like smartly dressed, and out here he's got a black T-shirt and a flip-flops, and then he's got a baseball cap, and the appearance.
The name, brand. In the station, he didn't have a name. He was a beggar. And here, people knew that
He's a performer.
he is the man.
Correct.
I think it's also marketing of the brand.
Marketing.
That's so important. You can be your brand, but how you market it?
Correct. So people knew 6 months in advance that Joshua Bell is going to come to this auditorium, which is why they bought the tickets. Whereas nobody knew in the subway station, right? So here's my take. And my take is this. We all make the same mistake as Joshua Bell is doing. I'm from Chennai, so I can really relate to a lot of things that happens in Calcutta. We are unlike project ourselves, profusely, and we tell who we are, and the marketing gene is a lot more higher in other cities. Whereas in Calcutta and Chennai, we kind of more subdued, we play it down. But immaterial of which city, what work, what business, which domain, I think if people don't perceive us well, if we don't project ourselves well, I think we are at a disadvantage. We will become like the Joshua Bell in the subway, in the metro station. Which begs us to this question. Right? Oh, by the way, I have to warn you, I've been a professor for 18 years. I'm very good at putting people to sleep. All right, fair warning. So absolutely feel free to stop at any time and rejig. Right? What the heck is a brand? It's like define what is love, right? It's one of the toughest questions to answer. But if I were to put a gun to your head, what would you say?
Anything which has a recall value.
Anything which has a recall value. Brilliant answer. What else?
An identity.
An identity, a logo, a color, a perception. Yeah.
A promise. It gets more
A promise. I love it. Right? We were just coming in the car with Abhi, and he says that, man, I love Saravana Bhavan. That's something that I miss in Calcutta. That is a promise. You go to any Saravana Bhavan, whether it's in Chennai, in Delhi, or in San Jose, and you will get exactly a promise of taste.
Where you can get more money.
Where you can get better value. Right? Absolutely. All these are all right. So the Wikipedia definition says, it includes a name, a logo, a slogan, and a design scheme associated with that product. When you see the whoosh, you immediately think of Nike. You think of Just Do It. You think of great brand shoes. Name, logo, slogan, and design is forms what's your identity. But you'll actually notice those are just the physical attributes that we see, but there's far more to it that there's this awareness, there is trust of doing business with you, knowing that you've built a reputation. We were just speaking with Abhi, IndusNet is 20 years old. Imagine that runway that Abhishek has had in order to build a reputation over 20 years. And that's difficult. And of course, the perception. Which is exactly the reason why we are perfectly okay with paying absurd amount of money to a Starbucks coffee. Can you ever imagine somebody paying a 275 rupees for a hazelnut frappuccino? But you go to a local chai wala and you say, what, 30 rupees for tea? Boss. Right? So look at the perceived value, because what Starbucks has done is that it gives you trust, it gives you coolness factor, it gives you the ambience, and it gives you promise that any person that you get a business or a date, you come along to Starbucks, I will make you feel good. I will make you feel better than who you are. Right? So that's what we should really take it and start to apply in our own. So brands deliver value, whereas commodities compete on price. It's 30 rupees, whereas the other shop is giving it for 25 rupees. So very, very interesting. And that's why I think it's very important for us to go out there and really showcase who we are, what we have done. And I think personal branding is exactly of all the points that you just said. If you're good at what you're doing, can we tell the world? Can the world appreciate the kind of effort that we are putting in, the kind of value that we bring to the table? I think that's super important.